Here are 5 eternal punishments the Greek gods devised for mortals who dared defy them. First, Ixion was bound to a flaming wheel, spinning forever through the sky for trying to seduce Zeus's wife Hera. Second, Tantalus stands in water that vanishes when he tries to drink, with fruit that pulls away when he reaches for it, punished for serving his own son as dinner to the gods. Third, Sisyphus eternally pushes a massive boulder up a mountain, only to watch it roll back down, for cheating death twice. Fourth, the Danaids must fill leaking jars with water forever, for murdering their husbands on their wedding night. But the most brutal punishment belongs to Prometheus, who gave fire to humanity. Every day, an eagle tears out his liver while he's fully conscious. Each night it grows back, just so the torture can begin again. Forever. Did you know there was a monster so terrifying that even the gods themselves fled in panic? After Zeus defeated the Titans, Gaia burned with rage at seeing her children imprisoned in Tartarus. She decided to birth the ultimate destroyer, a creature that would end the reign of the Olympians forever. From the deepest caverns of the earth emerged Typhon, a giant with 100 dragon heads breathing fire. His eyes shot flames that could melt mountains, and his voices mimicked every animal and god. The moment he rose from the earth, entire mountain ranges crumbled beneath his feet. The Olympian gods took one look at this cosmic horror and immediately fled to Egypt in animal form. Ares became a fish. Aphrodite transformed into a dove. Even mighty Poseidon abandoned his throne. Only Zeus remained to face the monster, but Typhon overwhelmed him, cutting out his divine sinews. The king of gods lay helpless in a cave until Hermes secretly restored his power. Zeus returned with thunderbolts blazing, hurling Mount Etna itself at the beast. Typhon was crushed beneath the mountain, where his rage still causes volcanic eruptions today. What if Orestes had refused Apollo's command to kill his mother Clytemnestra? The prince stood at the crossroads of divine will and human mercy, choosing compassion over vengeance. But defying a god comes with consequences. The Furies would still hunt him for dishonoring his murdered father Agamemnon. Without his trial, Athena never establishes the first court of justice in Athens. Greek civilization remains trapped in endless blood feuds, family killing family for generations. Apollo's authority crumbles as mortals learn they can ignore divine commands. Other cursed bloodlines, like the House of Thebes, continue their violent cycles unchecked. One act of mercy might have doomed an entire civilization to eternal vengeance. Did you know Achilles owned a prophetic horse who spoke perfect Greek and foretold his doom? Xanthos wasn't just any war horse. He was born from Zephyrus, the wind god, and the harpy Podarge, making him divine. During the Trojan War, after Patroclus died wearing Achilles' armor, the grief-stricken hero spoke to his horses, like humans. Then, something chilling happened. Xanthos suddenly lifted his head and spoke in perfect Greek, warning Achilles that death was approaching soon. Neither the horse's divine speed nor heritage could save him. The Greeks believed animals, especially divine ones, could see fate more clearly than mortals. This prophecy came true when Paris's arrow found Achilles' heel. A divine horse predicted the fall of Greece's greatest warrior. Here are 5 oath-bound disasters that destroyed gods and mortals alike. First, Zeus swore by the river Styx to grant Semele any wish she desired. When she asked to see his true lightning form, he couldn't refuse. The oath bound him completely. His divine fire instantly burned her to ash. Second, Agamemnon promised Artemis he'd sacrifice the most beautiful thing born that year. When his daughter Iphigenia was born, the goddess demanded her life. The oath forced him to kill his own child to sail for Troy. Third, Theseus's father Aegeus swore to jump from a cliff if his son died fighting the Minotaur. Theseus forgot to change his black mourning sails when returning victorious. Seeing them, Aegeus threw himself into the sea, thinking his son was dead. Fourth, Jephthah vowed to sacrifice whatever first emerged from his house after victory. His daughter ran out to greet him. The oath demanded her death. Fifth, the gods collectively swore they couldn't break fate itself. Even Zeus watched helplessly as his beloved son Sarpedon died at Troy, bound by cosmic law. Did you know the greatest hero in Greek mythology destroyed himself with his own success? Prince Bellerophon was falsely accused of seducing a queen and exiled to face impossible tasks. But he tamed Pegasus, the divine winged horse, and became unstoppable. He slayed the fire-breathing Chimera, defeated the Amazon warriors, and crushed entire armies. Each victory fed his growing pride until he believed himself equal to the gods. So he tried to fly Pegasus straight to Mount Olympus to claim his place among the immortals. Zeus sent a gadfly that stung Pegasus, throwing Bellerophon back to Earth. He survived the fall, but spent his remaining years blind, crippled, and completely alone. Even the greatest heroes can be destroyed by their own arrogance. What if Orpheus had never looked back at Eurydice during their ascent from Hades? His lyre's melody would have shattered death's ancient law forever. The first resurrection in human history would have changed everything. Word would spread across Greece like wildfire. Every grieving lover would attempt the same journey. Hades would be overwhelmed by desperate musicians, poets, and singers pleading for their beloved's return. Death would lose its finality. Warriors could return from battle, heroes from their quests. The fates themselves would lose power over human mortality. Humans could become effectively immortal through repeated underworld rescues. Gods would face an unprecedented challenge to their authority. Death-conquering mortals might rise up against divine rule itself. Would love conquering death have saved humanity or doomed the cosmic order? Sometimes the greatest tragedy prevents an even greater catastrophe. Did you know one of Zeus's lovers was turned into a cow and tormented for eternity by his jealous wife? Io was a beautiful priestess of Hera in Argos, devoted to serving the goddess with pure devotion. But Zeus became obsessed with her, relentlessly pursuing the innocent maiden despite her resistance. One day, he transformed into a cloud to seduce her, without detection. When Hera grew suspicious of the strange mist, Zeus panicked and transformed Io into a white heifer. But Hera was too clever. She asked for the beautiful cow as a gift, forcing Zeus to comply. Trapped in an animal's body while fully conscious, Io suffered unimaginable psychological torment. Hera sent the 100-eyed giant Argus to watch her constantly, never allowing her rest. After Argus died, she unleashed a gadfly that stung Io mercilessly, driving her across the world. The tortured priestess wandered endlessly, her suffering so great that the sea itself was named after her. The Ionian Sea bears witness to Hera's cruelest punishment. Did you know that according to Greek mythology, humans weren't breathed into existence by the gods, but molded from graveyard mud? The Titan Prometheus crafted each human individually, like pottery, mixing clay with river sediment and dirt from burial grounds. But Zeus refused to give mortals the divine gift of fire, leaving them cold and helpless in darkness. So Prometheus climbed Mount Olympus and stole fire from the gods themselves. His punishment was beyond cruel. Zeus chained him to a rock where an eagle would tear out his liver every single day. Each night it would regenerate completely, only to be devoured again at dawn. This torture continued for eternity. But the theft explained everything about human nature to the Greeks. We possess divine fire, the spark of the gods stolen for us, yet we're made from dirt and decay, forever bound to earth. This is why humans are caught between mortality and divine ambition. We carry both the mud of graveyards and the fire of heaven. Here are 5 things you didn't know about Jason and the Argonauts' quest for the Golden Fleece. First, the Golden Fleece came from a magical ram that could fly and speak. This divine creature had rescued 2 children, Phrixus and Hela, from their murderous stepmother. The ram carried them to safety, but was later sacrificed, its golden wool becoming the legendary prize. Second, the ship Argo wasn't just any vessel. It was built with a piece of the prophetic oak from Zeus's sacred grove at Dodona, making the ship semi-sentient and able to speak warnings to its crew. Third, Medea's help came at a horrific price. To delay her father's pursuit, she murdered her own brother and scattered his body parts across the sea, forcing him to stop and collect them for proper burial. Fourth, the deadly Symplegades had already crushed dozens of ships before the Argonauts arrived. The seafloor was littered with bones and broken vessels. Fifth, Jason abandoned Medea after she committed multiple murders for him. Her revenge was ultimate. She killed their own children. Here are 5 brutal truths about Heracles' labors that most people don't know. First, the Nemean lion couldn't be killed with any weapon. Its golden hide deflected every arrow, every sword, every spear thrown at it. Heracles had to wrestle this massive beast with his bare hands, slowly strangling it to death while its claws tore at his flesh. Second, fighting the Hydra meant slicing through immortal, regenerating heads while dodging clouds of poisonous breath that could kill with a single inhale. Third, cleaning the Augean stables wasn't just sweeping up horse droppings. Heracles had to redirect entire rivers through decades of rotting manure and filth that had piled up like mountains. Fourth, capturing the Erymanthian boar alive required months of tracking through freezing mountain peaks, chasing a creature that could gore him to death. But the most shocking truth? His final labor meant descending into Hades, while still alive and kidnapping Cerberus, the 3-headed guardian of the dead, using nothing but his strength against a monster that devoured souls. Did you know the most famous monster in Greek mythology was actually an innocent victim? Medusa wasn't born a monster. She was a beautiful priestess serving in Athena's sacred temple. Devoted to the goddess, she had sworn a vow of eternal chastity and purity. Her beauty caught the attention of Poseidon, god of the seas, who became obsessed with her. One day, he cornered her inside Athena's holy temple and brutally assaulted her. When Athena discovered what happened, she faced a terrible problem. She couldn't punish her uncle Poseidon, so she turned her rage on the victim instead. Medusa's hair became writhing, venomous snakes, her skin turned to bronze, and her eyes became instruments of death. Anyone who looked at her would turn to stone instantly. Cast out and alone, she lived in exile as a monster everyone feared. Years later, the hero Perseus found her sleeping and cut off her head. The greatest tragedy? Medusa died still a victim of divine injustice.
Did you know the first spider was once a mortal woman whose pride doomed her to weave forever? In ancient Lydia, Arachne created tapestries so lifelike they seemed to breathe. Her skill was legendary, but her arrogance was even greater. She boasted openly that she could weave better than Athena herself, goddess of crafts. One day, an old woman hobbled into her workshop, warning her to show humility to the gods. Arachne laughed and challenged Athena directly to a contest. The old woman threw off her disguise, revealing the furious goddess beneath. They wove side by side. Athena created scenes of divine glory and power, but Arachne depicted the gods' cruelties, their lies and betrayals of mortals. Her work was flawless, undeniably superior, and utterly insulting. Athena's rage exploded. She struck Arachne with her wooden shuttle. The mortal woman's body twisted and shrank, her limbs becoming 8 spindly legs. Athena cursed her to weave forever as the first spider. Every web you see carries the echo of that ancient punishment.